It's another night of NBA playoff action on this Tuesday, April the 25th. This is really the best time of year to be an NBA fan, is it not? Meaningful games every single night. No better place to get involved than BetSafe. We do have some NBA specials running now. Be sure to check those out. 3 games on tap on this Tuesday the 25th, but I'll only be involved in 2 of them, staying away from that Memphis-San Antonio game. You would expect the Spurs to take care of business at home, but I'll tell you what, the Grizzlies have surprised me, getting the last 2 games in a row in this series to even it up at 2 games apiece. San Antonio a 10-point favorite in the game, so again, I'm steering clear, but I will be involved in the other 2 games. Would like to go ahead and talk about those now quickly. Let's start in Houston, where the Rockets host the Oklahoma City Thunder. Houston a 7.5-point favorite at BetSafe, 222.5 the total in this game. Now, OKC really let one get away in Game 4. They, of course, won Game 3 to narrow it to 2-1. And they controlled Game 4, but they blew it in the fourth quarter again. The Rockets picking up the 113-109 victory to take total control of this series now, 3-1. We now head back to Houston, and we know the Thunder have not been a good road team this season, sub 500 on the road, and of course they lost the first 2 games in Houston in this series. And look, Russell Westbrook has been great in the series, triple-double 3 out of 4 games, he's averaging over 35 points a game. But he has worn down in the fourth quarter, has not shot the ball well in the fourth quarter these past couple of games, and has forced the issue a little bit on offense. But can you blame him? I mean, at times, it seems like nobody else on this OKC team can get a clutch bucket. So can't blame Westbrook for what he's trying to do, carrying the team on his back. But the Thunder are just outgunned here. Unlike Westbrook, James Harden surrounded with plenty of shooters. I mean, look. In Game 4, Harden goes 5 of 16, struggling through that sore ankle. Harden and Ryan Anderson, probably the team's 2 best three-point shooters, they combined to go 1 of 10 from three-point range. You would think in a game where James Harden goes 5 of 16, or Harden and Ryan Anderson shoot 1 of 10 from 3, a game that's in Oklahoma City, you'd think the Thunder would be able to get that game. But lo and behold, the Rockets just have too many weapons. Lewis Williams and Eric Gordon both scoring 18 points off the bench. Nene scoring 28 off the bench, not missing a shot. So look, the Rockets, they just come at you in waves. They were the second best offensive team all season in the entire NBA behind the Golden State Warriors, and they're just too much for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder not good enough on offense to stay with the Rockets, and not good enough on defense to disrupt what the Rockets are trying to do. This game back in Houston, as we said, I think the Rockets win here, put this series to bed, and I think they win fairly comfortably. I think they're going to cover that 7.5-point number. Moving on now to Los Angeles, where the Clippers host the Utah Jazz, Game 5 of their series. Clippers a 4-point favorite here at BetSafe, 196 the total. My, how things have changed in this series in the past 4 days. And hey, 4 days ago it was 1-1, and now it's 2-2, so as far as that goes, not much has changed. But the Jazz now have Rudy Gobert back, and the Clippers no longer have Blake Griffin. He'll be out for the remainder of the playoffs with a toe injury. That really changes things in this series here. Gobert looked like himself in returning for Utah in the last game. Double-digit rebounds, couple of block shots. Look, he's one of the best defensive centers in the NBA, and he anchors a Jazz defense that is the single best defense in the NBA, and they've held this Clippers offense below 100 points in 3 of the 4 games in this series, including Game 4, which Utah was able to win 105-98. Now look, without Blake Griffin, this Clippers team, which is so explosive offensively, can be so explosive offensively at times, especially when they have Griffin, Game 4, where's the offense going to come from? All of a sudden it looks like dwindling offensive options on this Clippers team. J.J. Redick mired in a terrible slump. He is really struggling shooting the ball right now. DeAndre Jordan, of course, a great defensive center, but he's not very useful offensively aside from lobs, dunks around the rim. Richard Mbah Moute, a total non-scorer. So really you've got Chris Paul, and then you've got guys coming off the bench like Jamal Crawford. They need Redick. They need Redick's shooting to pick back up, or they need some contributions from somebody like Paul Pierce or Maurice Spates, guys who haven't done a whole lot in this postseason. Look, the Clippers need some sort of offense because without Griffin, it is going to be a real grind scoring against this Utah Jazz team. And I'll tell you what, the Jazz, they're getting it from a few different places now. Their best player, Gordon Hayward, only played 9 minutes in Game 4 with food poisoning, ended up having to leave the stadium. Joe Johnson comes off the bench, 28 points, but Johnson wasn't the only one. Rodney Hood, Derek Favors also with big games off the bench. Joe Ingles, the Australian, has been huge in this series. And really, over the second half of this season, Ingles has been the unsung star of this Utah Jazz team. 11 assists in Game 4. Kind of like where Utah is at right now. And again, without Blake Griffin, it's going to be real grind for the LA Clippers. It's going to be tough for them to score in this game. I tell you what, I think the 4 points could come in handy here. This game in LA, I think this is going to be a really close, hard-fought game. 196 is the total. I wouldn't be looking over that. I do think this is going to be a close, low-scoring game. And as I said, I'll take those 4 points. Jazz could win this game outright, but if they fall short, I have a feeling this might be a close one. So Utah +4, I think the right play there. There you have it. Those are my thoughts on this Tuesday, April the 25th. I like the Houston Rockets to cover 7.5 at home against Oklahoma City. And I like the Utah Jazz +4 on the road against the LA Clippers. I wish you best of luck tonight, no matter what you decide to do, folks, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interests. Enjoy the playoffs.